I recently purchased a new Commodore 64 Reloaded MK2 board and a black case from individual computers. I also sourced the chips required to make the board work. In this video, I am unboxing these components as well as assembling the device and working through a couple of issues that arose during the testing. I also go on to test the user port and test an SD to IEC device towards the end of the video. So the C64 Reloaded MK2 is still in high demand according to their website, and there is no shortage, and they're delivering and will continue to do so. The Commodore 64 Reloaded MK2 is a C64 motherboard for building a C64 on your own. The board is shipped with empty ZIF sockets for the key chips such as CPU, port chips, sound/video chips. All other components are already assembled and pre-tested before shipment. In order to build a C64 computer with this board, you will need to supply the key chips on your own. The CPU, 6510 or 8500. Two pieces, a CIA of 6526A or 8521. A video chip, which they list the part numbers, either NTSC or PAL. And one or two sound chips, 6581 and /or 8580. As opposed to the first C64 Reloaded board, the C64 Reloaded MK2 will automatically identify the installed chips. It will not only generate the correct clocking, but also set the right voltages for the chips that you have chosen. Further, it configures the filter capacitors for your favorite SID combination. This means the Commodore 64 Reloaded MK2 is a completely jumper-free design. The Commodore 64 Reloaded MK2 includes the following on the board: all memory, flash ROM for kernel, basic, character, and your own set of ROMs, clock generator or equivalent to the CSG 8701 chip with 2 custom crystals, a PLA equivalent, stereo SID circuit configurable for 3 different popular addresses, S-video, and 3.5mm stereo outputs. USB to serial link for configuring the board with the terminal program, high efficiency power conversion for operation from a single 12-volt supply, power switch with integrated reset function, 6 all-black high-quality ZIF sockets. I'm going to read the highlights here. While the C64 was based on dynamic memory, the C64 Reloaded MK2 uses a 128K SRAM chip. This ensures component availability for a long time in the future, and it reduces power consumption. The ROMs of the Commodore 64 Reloaded MK2 are held in user-writable flash ROM. You do not need an EEPROM programmer/eraser to flash your own kernel ROMs. All you need is a USB cable and a terminal program on a Windows, Linux, Mac, or Amiga PC. Your ROM files can then be transferred to the Commodore 64 Reloaded MK2 using the standard X modem protocol. The clock generator of the Commodore 64 Reloaded MK2 automatically adapts to the type of VIC chip that you have installed. PAL or NTSC chips require the correct color clock, and the processor also gets a slightly different clock speed depending upon the local TV system. You don't need to worry about any settings, as all timings are configured to the exact values the original C64 computer has used. This ensures 100% compatibility while maintaining 0 installation pains. The C64 Reloaded MK2 does not require a PLA chip. All of the functions of this delicate chip are integrated into the main logic of this new main board. They go on to say, we can guarantee full compatibility because the chip has been reverse engineered in every single detail. The C64 Reloaded MK2 allows installation of a second SID chip at the user's choice. If you want to build a 100% compatible computer, you can just leave the socket for the second chip empty. If you want to go for stereo or have a possibility to switch between new/old SID while music is playing, just drop in a second chip into the ZIF socket. The original C64 can use a standard TV as a monitor because it has a built-in TV modulator. The C64 Reloaded does not use this technology anymore because in the year 2017, TV sets with an interface for that kind of signal are not common anymore. The C64 Reloaded has 2 connectors in the place of the TV modulator that let you make use of more common audio and video interfaces, an S-video connector and a 3.5mm audio jack. These 2 connectors are mounted on a separate circuit board which is mounted at an angle on the C64 Reloaded. It goes on to say power consumption of your complete system can be cut by over 75% if compared to the original 80s computer and power supply solution. Devices that connect to the user port and make use of the AC voltage also work flawlessly with this C64 Reloaded MK2. The power switch looks just like the original, but instead of 2 positions, it has 3 of them. In the down position, the computer is switched off. In the middle position, it is switched on. In the up position, it will reset the machine and automatically click back to the middle on position. This lets you use a reset button without the need to drill a hole into your case for an additional button. Further, the functionality of this button can also be configured to be a SID or kernel switcher. That would be good to switch between Jiffy DOS. Last but not least, we have listened to our customers who criticized the look of our first C64 Reloaded board. While the general consent was that the black circuit board looks great, many people didn't like the 1980s characteristic green of the ZIF sockets. We have therefore equipped the Commodore 64 Reloaded MK2 with custom black ZIF sockets. So you got CIA 1 and 2. Just throw it like right in there. Anyway, it's a 6526 R4. And this one goes over on the side here. This is so much easier. So easy to mount those chips this way rather than with this traditional socket. So I realize these are PAL chips, but I couldn't find or source, I could not source the NTSC versions, but at least not yet. So I thought I would try them. And then the CPU. You just set it right in there. That one's a little bit of a tight fit right there, because the bars overlap a little bit. This board I don't think needs a PLA. It has one built in. And I believe that's all I need to test it out. So now I gotta find my power adapter and give this a shot. Alright, I found my standard cable with the RCA jacks. I'm gonna go ahead, plug those in. Gonna plug in the keyboard. There we go. Plug the LED and turn it on. Looks like we're in PAL mode. My monitor has a PAL mode. Very good. And as I was buttoning up this case, for some reason I got a little screw stuck right there. It took me a minute to get it out. And it shows it. Let's show it. Shows it right here. Then it was just a matter of mounting the keyboard, screwing it in, and figuring out how to get the LED plugged up. But just as I was about to screw it in the case, I ran into a minor issue. There's no holes on the bottom here. Getting this on camera, we'll see. There. Okay, now I can close the case. Well, about the only thing that now I realize I didn't order was the sticker for this right here. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and try plugging in my Ultimate cartridge, my Ultimate 2 Plus cartridge, and seeing if it is compatible or if it fries. Haha. Oh. It worked for half a second. LED is flashing right there, flashing red. Some kind of an issue, so I don't know exactly what's going on. Let's try a CRT. Like Galaxian. Hey, okay. Now let's try so it says to insert side 2. Just go back in, hit the button, go to side 2, hit mount, and hit the space bar. You should be playing Below the Root. Oh, we're not playing Below the Root. We got an issue. Oh, it crashed. Yeah, that's not good. That is not good. Again, we have the flashing red LED and a black screen. So we're gonna cut this off. And the first thing I wanna try is, since I've finally got my hands on a CPU, let's see if that's the culprit or not. So as I was troubleshooting, I went ahead and switched out the CIA chips with the JCIAs that I had just received. I swapped out the CPU and the VIC chips with the NTSC versions, and I switched to a ARM SID. I also have a replacement VIC chip, and it's NTSC. So let's take the VIC out and the CPU, place in a replacement CPU, replacement VIC chip. Cross your fingers. We don't blow this thing up. There we go. We have a working motherboard finally. So I'm getting nothing but garbage characters. Okay, so I've been having a problem. I've done this a couple times. When I hit the middle button on the Ultimate 2 Plus, it seems like the screen goes weird and it doesn't work, doesn't let me continue after that. It does let me go into the menus on the Ultimate, but I can't continue the game that I'm running. But I'm gonna try it again. So there it went black. Now press it one more time. So I'll try my 2 Plus L cartridge instead. I don't anticipate that this will work any better. All right, so here we are on insert side 2 and press spacebar. Normally I can just hit the middle button on the Ultimate 2, but it wasn't working with this cartridge. This is my first time trying it with a 2+L, and we'll see if we have the same result. Side 2, mount. Seems to be working just fine. So to me, I don't know, to me that's probably a compatibility thing with the 2+ cartridge. I never really had an issue with it before, and I only purchased the 2+L because it was the new latest thing. Turn up a little. Now this is where I was last time. And I wanted to hit Journey Onward. Now here it says insert the player disc, so I'm going to switch the discs. Go to mastered, B, which I assume is the player's disc. Mount it and hit the space bar. And of course, rather than telling me that up front, I don't have an active game. But it does work, and I wasn't able to get that far before. I love this game. I don't know why, there's not a whole lot to it, but I do love the game. Just gonna hit P to play the game. And it's probably gonna ask me to insert the player disc. And there it is, so I'm gonna press and switch to the player disc and hit mount. And F1, like it asks. There it is. Okay, that's how you move around. Okay, let's go for disc 2. Seems to be working. Yeah. Now that everything's running smoothly, I am comfortable with the idea of buttoning everything up. And see what this case looks like. And then they gave me these little feet, and I'm not sure, but they don't even fit on there properly. But I don't think they gave me the 2 feet that go up front. That's okay, I'll just put those on. And let's plug things back in before powering up. See if we still got a functioning system. All right, and there we have it. So overall, I am happy with this thing. I think it's pretty darn cool. All right, so I'm gonna power this thing off, plug in the 4-port adapter right here. Lets you add 2 additional joysticks, and then plug in a second joystick. I'm only gonna use 2 joysticks for this demonstration just to see if it works. I like how it says this side up. You will fry the board if you plug it in upside down. And I'll plug it into what I assume is port 3. And let's try Amazing Race again. Amazing Race is available on my itch.io page, Gray Defender. Let's see. I'm moving around player 4 up on the top left, using the 4-port adapter from the user port. And then with this joystick, I'm controlling player 2. That might make it easier to see the one on the top left. And this is a fun game. All you do is try to race to the opposite corner, diagonal from where you start. And it's delineated by the color you're supposed to go to. So right here we're brown, we go up to brown. So anyway, yeah, the user port works. I love how this this black case looks. It's beautiful. Got it from individual computers. And the only thing I am missing is that sticker on the back. I do need to order that. Take another look at this beauty. Yeah, I know that there's writing right here. It's very dark. And if I was a real hobbyist, I would go out and I would get some white paint and paint those so that we could read what those actually say. But with the flashlight, you can make it out. And so the sticker that I was talking about goes right here. This actually needs to be sanded down. It's a little lip right there. I have my feetsies I just put on. And I was looking through my things and I just noticed that I have these big feets. They're bigger than the cutout is, but just thought I'd throw them on this one. Might as well make use out of them. There we go. They look kind of corny. Let's see how this feels. Now it's elevated up and it doesn't move as much, so I think that works out great. Anyway, I think it's a beautiful case and the motherboard is great. I love how it's socketed and it's easy to swap chips in and out if you like to. I have my JCIAs that I was testing out, which worked great, and then I have my NTSC PAL. I have my PAL CPU and VIC chips over there as well. Alright, I'm back after a couple of days, and what I wanted to do is demonstrate if the SD to IEC works with the C64 Reloaded MK2. So I'm about to plug this in and we'll give it a run through. I'm going to go ahead and power off the device and go ahead and plug it in. So on this one, it is labeled top. So you want to make sure you plug it in that side up. And that goes into the tape device, or the tape port, user port, tape user port, whatever that's called. And then you want to plug this IEC into the IEC port. And that should be all there is to it. Detangle. And let's power on, see what we get. Let's see if we're device 8 or 9. I don't recall. And we're device 9, of course. Alright, so I'm going to throw in an SD card I've loaded a few programs on. Okay, so right now the SD to IEC device is still 9. So we're going to run a command to change it to device 8. And to do that, you run the command open 1, comma, the current device number, comma 15, comma quote, U0 greater than, quote, plus CHR dollar, the device you're switching it to, and then simply close 1. So you're going from device 9, from this device 9 number here to device 8. Now we are to temporarily device 8, and what we want to do is write that so that the SD to IEC remembers that setting. And in order to do that, you run the command open 1, 8, 15, quote, XW, quote, then close 1. Now we are back to device 8 on the SD to IEC, hopefully permanently. We'll try to get a directory, and then we'll power off the device just to confirm that it remembered our setting. And it appears that it did. So now we want to load in below the root. And so we'll do a load, we'll switch directories. We'll go open 1, 8, 15, quote, CD whack whack BELO asterisk. And that should put us in that directory. We have an auto swap. I'm going to push the two together to regenerate it and get a directory. Oops. And it should be in the below the root folder. And now let's load the game and see if we can switch to the second disk once it's ready. Now it's asking for side 2. I'm going to press the middle button and hit spacebar. So my whole point was to just demonstrate that the SD to IEC device is working with the C64 Reloaded MK2 motherboard. I could in a future video work out how to swap out the ROM using the reset key. It would be nice to swap it out with the Jiffy DOS ROM. The C64 Reloaded MK2 board was released back in 2017. Even though I ran into some stumbling blocks, I enjoyed working out the issues and I thought this was a fun project. Thanks for watching.